Hi, welcome to Centerville Reports Today. I'm Maureen Russell Hodson. Well, we're all delighted that spring is here. However, spring also can bring severe weather. Here to tell us more about what to do when severe weather hits, we have Officer Jim Shanesy from the Centerville Police Department and Kristen Gopman, who is the assistant to the city manager. And thank you both for being here. Yeah, we don't want to scare people because we know we all like to be outside. We all enjoy weather, but it is important to remind people that this is the time that severe weather can be hitting our area. So I know you all went to a really good workshop and they're going to share some information. You might be saying, you know what, I know what to do when a tornado hits. I know what to do in severe weather, but it's common sense. But do we always practice common sense? It's always good to keep in the forefront of your mind because sometimes you might get confused about warning versus, I guess, watch. What to do, where you should be, sirens. So we're going to go through all this information for you, and hopefully you'll find this information helpful. So let's start with number one, what we should do. And I guess really we need to prepare because it is tornado season. And actually on March 23rd, on Wednesday, March 23rd at 9:50, in the whole state of Ohio, the sirens are going to go off, right?
Correct. Yes.
Right. Part of Severe Weather Awareness Week in Ohio, there's going to be a statewide tornado drill Wednesday, March 23rd at 9:50 a.m. And here in Centerville, the outdoor sirens will be going off.
So you're going to hear those, and that's just really as a practice, just to make sure that you know what to do when or tornado might be sighted, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, you might say, I don't hear those sirens in my home, and you're not necessarily supposed to hear that, right?
No. No, if you're outside, you should hear the sirens. Inside, you should have a radio or your TV on.
So the sirens are designed for people who are outside to seek immediate shelter.
That is correct.
And also go inside and seek information, too, to see what, when you hear the siren, you hopefully can get inside. If not, then seek shelter, outside, seek cover.
But if you're not hearing it in your home, that's because...
That's okay. Yeah. You're not designed to.
Right. You might have, especially if you have a newer home with new construction, new windows, so forth, you may not hear that. But you definitely want to make sure that you're seeking shelter.
Right.
And when we talk about other ways to hear, we know there's the NOAA radios. Those radios are 24/7, right? They're just always letting you know about weather information.
That's correct.
And you can pick those up anywhere.
Right. You can pick those up. We talked about earlier, Best Buy, Target, Walmart. They're about $25, for a general model, but you can get more high tech if you'd like. And they are programmable with alerts so that anytime the National Weather Service issues an alert for our county or wherever you are, it will go off. And so that's one good way to alert.
You can download an app as well, too,
I was going to say,
yeah.
Smartphones, there's many different apps to use, and most of them can be set up with alerts to notify you via text or an alert there on your phone to know what's going on as well.
Okay. All right. So all good tips. Another important thing is an emergency supply kit. We talk about this all the time. We remind our residents that you want to make sure that you're prepared for an emergency. We say 3 days, right?
3 days, yes. 3 days of water, your radio, extra batteries, flashlight, and in some cases, we were taught at this training to use bicycle helmets as a way to keep your head protected.
So keep a helmet. Keep your helmets.
Right. Definitely for children. We give out bike helmets
yes, we do.
For the police department. Yes. And it is the law in Centerville to, under 18 years old to have a helmet. So hopefully most children do already. And then also for some adults too, like to keep their head safe as well, and they can use their own helmets. So it's good to have that helmet, just grab it from your garage or just have it there in your kit if you have an extra one to make sure that your children are safe.
Okay, and a good place to go for a whole list because there are things you can put in a big kit. We've built them on the show before, the kit, but you can go to our website, which is centervilleohio.gov. You can download emergency planning, and that's a really good start. But this is something too that you don't want to just wait maybe until next storm. This is something that you want to start on now and make sure that your kids know that you have an emergency plan. So this is important too, that you know where you're going to go, right? Identify
yes,
a place in your house.
Yes. Yeah, you need to have a plan of where you're going to meet, especially if you all are not at home. If one's at work and there's only one person at home, you need to know where you're going to meet if there is an emergency, and there's places you can, set up as your meeting area.
And sometimes cell phones could be down. Cell towers might not be working, so you definitely want to have a communications plan. And in your house, if there is or tornado sighted, where's the best place to go?
If you have a basement, that's the best. But the most interior part of your house is where you want to be. Put the most walls between you and the outside of your house.
It's probably a good idea to make sure you identify that place now so that you know where to go, because the more you practice, just like anything, that's probably what's going to kick in when the time comes. And then also practice drills, which I think would be fun for families, right?
Sure.
Right. I mean, that's the best way, practice, especially to get your kids involved and to know what to do.
Yeah, and make sure that they feel comfortable and they know how to communicate with you. And I know even if there's a fire drills are good to have at your house as well, and make sure that you all have a common meeting place. Okay, so now what should you do during a watch? Tell us the difference between a watch and a warning.
Tornado watch is when the conditions are right, according to the National Weather Service, for a tornado to occur. That doesn't mean that there is one now, that there was one sighted. It just means that the meteorologists have determined that the conditions are right, that a tornado might be spotted or might form.
So at home, should you just be on alert at your house? You should just
be ready
checking
be
the
ready
weather?
be ready for immediate action if you need to take it.
Okay. And then if there's a warning, this is when the sirens are going to go.
Right, and the alerts are going to sound. And what we learned in our training is you have an average of a 13-minute lead time. So that's not very long, but it is enough time to, since you have your plan, hopefully, and have been practicing, then you know what to do and to take action. So you want to seek shelter in your basement or in the most interior room of your house, hopefully no windows, and then protect yourself. You want to have blankets, you want to have mattresses, you want to have pillows, you want to have the
bike helmet.
The bike helmets on the children. You want to have socks and shoes on. You don't want to be in flip-flops. You don't want to be in slippers, because if a tornado were to occur, there will be debris, there will be nails, there will be lots of materials that could harm your feet, especially if you're going to have to dig yourself out.
And you should grab your cell phone, I guess, perhaps, or
and
have your
charger.
Emergency kit.
Sure.
Your
Yes.
cell phone,
which
your
should be
charger.
down there.
We also learned about infants. Take your infant in their car seat, their little carrier. That's a good protection for them. Strap them in. Pets, put them in their carriers. Cats, dogs, round them up and have their carriers ready. Just anything to protect them. Just think, how will I protect my pet? How will I protect my children? And then yourself, for the adults to have the blankets or the mattresses.
Right, mattresses.
So if all that's in your kit, or if you have something close by or a certain area that if it happens, we're going to go to our basement and have all your materials there, all the supplies you need, you should be in good shape there. What if you're driving and that happens?
Well, there's a couple different things you can do while you're driving. One thing is, the best thing is stop. If you're near a shelter, get to that shelter. But if you're not, if you're in the middle of nowhere, it's best to just get down in your car below the glass, as low as you can go. The worst thing about, some people think they can try to outdrive the storm, and that's not going to work. And in some cases, you'll drive into another storm. So the best thing to do is to either stay where you are in your car or get to a shelter that's right there. And
the other thing is, if a tornado has been sighted, you might be curious, but you certainly don't want to go outside.
We don't want you being storm chasers.
Right.
No,
don't go take a look at it for whatever reason. Wait, you can see it later, but you definitely don't want to go and see it and end up being in the eye of the storm.
If you see a funnel cloud and your cell phone's working, by all means call us, call 911 and tell us, but we definitely don't want you chasing it.
Yeah. We know what destruction can occur from that. So, but you should call 911?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, I can't guarantee you all the phone lines aren't going to be overrun. If the phones are working, I'm sure dispatch will be getting a lot of calls, but you can at least try.
Right. And again, that's only for an emergency type situation.
That is correct. That's if you see a funnel cloud, that would be the time to call 911.
So you don't want to call and say, well, I think the weather's going to be bad. Is this road going to be open?
No.
Which
no,
I know people do that.
Yeah, we're not going to have that kind of information. We're more worried about, is there a funnel cloud and what's going on emergency-wise.
Which is why we always encourage our residents and all citizens to be self-reliant. Make sure that you have your own radio, that you have your supply kit, that you have everything that we're talking about, so that in case it were to happen, you would be able to, we say, be self-sustaining for 3 days is always a good rule of thumb.
And that includes medication. If you or your family rely on medication, you need to make sure you have those bottles with you.
Right. And the cell phone charger, which you mentioned
Cell phone
earlier.
charger.
Batteries, plenty of flashlights, things like
could
that
lose
as well.
power.
And again, we have a great list that's on our website at centervilleohio.gov that you can go to. And you also want to make sure that if you have an elderly neighbor, that your elderly neighbor, if he or she lives alone, maybe that you kind of check on that person and make sure that that person knows that they have a plan or that they know what to do. We mentioned pets and small children because those are all special populations that we have to take care of.
Yes.
As
That's
well,
yes.
right? Okay. I know on here it's encouraging you too to wear long pants. Obviously, we talked about that before, but mainly for safety purposes.
Right.
All right, and then this is something else that we've kind of talked about a little bit, but probably once a tornado started, shouldn't get in your car and go someplace else either.
No. No.
You know, you don't need to go to your parents' house or your grandparents' house for safety.
Right. You
Seek
need
shelter where you are.
That is correct.
Stay where you are
Yeah.
and, you know, cover yourself, prepare yourself. Don't leave.
Yeah.
And also, like you said, don't be a storm chaser, don't be a storm spotter. Just rely on the meteorologists, you know, the National Weather Service, the NOAA weather radio, you know, radio, TV. That's not for you to take upon yourself.
And then, and just as a reminder, then again, on Wednesday, March 23rd at 9:50, the sirens will sound. We have, I think, 13 throughout Centerville and Washington Townships, 13 sirens. I know that we have put information too on the town crier, and we'll have that on our website. But if you are outside, you're going to hear it. But if you're inside, again, you may not hear the siren. That doesn't mean that they're not being sounded.
No. No, just depending on what kind of house you have, how old it is, how soundproof it is, you just may not hear it.
But you do want to go through that practice. It's a great time to do it. In fact, we will all be practicing as part of our
Yes.
Yes, we
operations,
will.
All
right?
5 of our city buildings will be practicing on Wednesday the 23rd at 9:50
So we'll be going
a.m.
through that, and not only that, but we also practice for other types of emergencies and disasters at least once a year, right?
Yes. Yes, we do.
The city personnel, our staff, our police department, our fire department, and we work with Washington Township so that we're all on the same page in case of an emergency. And if there would be an emergency, we always encourage all of our residents to tune your radio to WCWT, that's 107.3 FM, because we'll be using every kind of outlet that we can to get information to you, and we'll definitely be using that radio station as well. Of course, we always encourage you to check out our website, which is centervilleohio.gov. If we can get messages on Facebook, we'll be using Facebook, Twitter,
Right.
all the social media that we can, but we want to make sure that you're prepared. Again, go to our website for your emergency list as well.
And I did want to mention we had a tornado warning earlier today.
Yeah.
So it was actually north, but this is the right time of year to start practicing and get your plan together. Because
And it really
It's
should be
tornado
something, yeah, that
season.
you're doing maybe every month.
right.
Just like it's the first Monday of every month where the sirens are sounded, right?
Correct.
So if
Yes.
you hear that, that's typically going to be a test, but it's a good time to check to make sure that your supply kit is ready, that you're ready, that your family has a plan, and so forth.
And these kits can be used for any emergency, not
Right.
just tornadoes.
Right.
Any other emergency that
Any
comes
kind
up.
of cold weather, if we lose power.
Yes. Yes.
We've had, you know, Centerville, Ohio, we can have all kinds of weather happen. Okay, well, before we close too, I wanted to remind folks about Coffee with the Cop, because if you'd like to talk with a police officer more or learn more about operations, that's happening next month, right?
Next month, Tuesday, April 12th from 9 to 11 at Bill's Donut Shop. Yes, we all like donuts.
That's
It's fitting that it's there. But yes, Bill's Donut Shop at 268 North Main Street. We will have officers out there from 9 to 11.
So you can come and talk with a police officer if you have a question, maybe about your neighborhood or
Yes.
some type of security question. You'd be glad to answer those questions
Absolutely.
as well, right?
Yes.
Well, thanks for the information. We know it may seem a little bit dry. We certainly don't want to scare you, but we want to make sure that you're prepared, because that's the most important thing. Again, go to our website, centervilleohio.gov. You can download our emergency information and emergency supply kit. You can also call us at 433-7151, because we'd be glad to walk you through the steps. And again, we will have more information on our Facebook page about this drill. But again, it's Severe Weather Awareness Week. We want to make sure that you're always prepared at home for severe weather. Thank you both for being here. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.